The scorching Texas sun painted the border landscape in hues of crimson and amber, casting long shadows across the rugged terrain of Big Bend National Park. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from, and if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow I've saved something extra special for you. Through the crosshairs of a high-powered Barrett M82 sniper rifle, a figure watched as a lone Border Patrol vehicle navigated the winding road below. The cartel members exchanged confident smirks, another female agent working solo, an easy target for their message of intimidation. They had no idea they were about to learn a brutal lesson about judging a book by its cover. For this particular agent carried not just a badge, but the lethal skills of one of the military's most elite fighting forces. The day had started like any other for senior Border Patrol agent Sarah Mitchell. Her boots crunched against the gravel as she conducted her routine patrol along the remote stretches of the Texas-Mexico border. The morning briefing had mentioned increased cartel activity in the area, but after 15 years of service, first as a Navy SEAL and now with Border Patrol, danger was an old companion. The radio crackled with routine chatter as her vehicle wound through the towering limestone cliffs of Big Bend. Something caught her eye. Fresh tire tracks veering off into a narrow canyon, too recent to have been there during her morning patrol. Her instincts, honed through countless classified operations in places that didn't officially exist, sparked to life. Sarah's hand unconsciously traced the outline of her concealed Sig Sauer P226 Navy, the same model she'd carried through 3 tours with SEAL Team 8. The familiar weight brought back memories of night operations in Yemen, extraction missions in Somalia, and firefights in places redacted from official records. Now, those same instincts were telling her something was very wrong. The canyon walls rose around her vehicle like nature's pillbox, perfect for an ambush. Most agents would radio for backup, follow protocol, wait for support. But Sarah wasn't most agents. Through her driver's side mirror, she caught the telltale glint of scope reflection. Amateur mistake. They wanted her to see them, wanted her to feel fear. The first shot shattered her rear tire, the sound echoing off the canyon walls like thunder. Sarah was already moving, muscle memory from thousands of hours of training taking over. The second shot punched through her windshield as she executed a textbook J-turn, positioning her disabled vehicle as cover. They had expected panic, hoped for terror. Instead, they got methodical precision. The radio erupted with demands in accented English. "Border puta, show your hands. Let's see how brave you are now." Laughter echoed across the canyon. Sarah allowed herself a small smile as she reached for her go-bag, the one even her fellow agents didn't know about. Inside was a reminder of her past life. Lightweight body armor, tactical gear, and weapons that weren't standard Border Patrol issue. Through the dust kicked up by her maneuver, Sarah counted muzzle flashes, 4 on the ridge to her left, 3 more moving in from the right. Their formation spoke of military training, but their confidence betrayed their fatal flaw. They thought they were the hunters. A burst of automatic fire peppered her vehicle, but Sarah was already gone, moving like a ghost through the brush. The cartel members had chosen this location carefully, planned their ambush with professional precision. But they had made one crucial mistake. They hadn't bothered to check her service record, hadn't wondered why certain years were classified, why some missions were marked simply as international advisory roles. They were about to learn that sometimes the most dangerous predators are the ones that looked like prey. Sarah's mind shifted into the familiar clarity of combat mode, analyzing angles, calculating distances, mapping fields of fire. The same mental processes that had kept her alive during SEAL operations now catalogued every advantage and vulnerability. The canyon's acoustics would mask her movement, the morning sun would blind shooters on the ridge, and their own eagerness would make them sloppy. The first cartel member died silently, Sarah's garrote wire finding his throat before he could cry out. The second had time only to register surprise as her combat knife slipped between his ribs, a technique learned not in border patrol training, but in close-quarters combat courses that officially didn't exist. She relieved them both of their weapons and radios, gathering intel even as she hunted. Through their comms, she heard growing confusion. Their easy target, their supposed victim, had vanished. Now shadows held danger, and every rustle of wind could mean death. Sarah used their night vision equipment against them, positioning small mirrors to create false signatures, leading them to chase phantoms while she methodically reduced their numbers. "Status report!" The demand crackled through the captured radio. "Where is she? El Jefe wants confirmation." The response was only static, 2 more down, their bodies arranged to send a message. This wasn't just about survival anymore. It was about teaching a lesson that would echo through cartel ranks. Sarah moved like water through the canyon, each step calculated, each position chosen with tactical precision. The remaining cartel members began firing at shadows, their professional demeanor cracking under the strain of hunting something they couldn't see. They had expected to break her, to film another warning to those who challenged cartel authority. Instead, they were starring in a different kind of instructional video. The sun climbed higher as Sarah prepared her final approach. The cartel's leader, visible now through his own captured scope, was orchestrating a fallback, trying to retreat to their vehicles. His movements suggested special forces training, probably former Mexican Marines turned mercenary. Under different circumstances, she might have respected his tactical acumen. But he had made the one unforgivable mistake. He had threatened a SEAL. "You want to film something?" Sarah's voice carried across the canyon, seeming to come from everywhere and nowhere. "Film this." The flashbang she had recovered from, her go-bag detonated at their feet, shattering their formation. In the chaos that followed, Sarah moved with lethal grace, each strike a culmination of years of training in the world's most elite fighting force. The cartel's leader managed to squeeze off 2 shots before Sarah's boot connected with his sternum. He was good. His counterattack would have worked on a normal opponent. But Sarah had learned close-quarters combat from instructors who wrote the manual on it. The fight was over in seconds, his own zip ties now binding his wrists. As border, patrol and FBI tactical units finally arrived, drawn by reports of gunfire. They found a scene that would become legend. 7 cartel members, each restrained with professional precision, their own cameras documenting their defeat, and Sarah Mitchell, calmly radioing in her location as she administered first aid to the survivors. But this was just the beginning. As she secured the scene, Sarah's trained eye caught details others might miss: custom weapons with serial numbers linked to military sources, tactical gear that shouldn't be in civilian hands, sat phones with encrypted channels. This wasn't just a cartel operation. It was something bigger, something that reached into the corridors of power. These men had thought they were sending a message. Instead, they had awakened something far more dangerous, a warrior who had spent her life hunting bigger prey in darker shadows. The sun reached its zenith over Big Bend as Sarah began her investigation, her mind already mapping connections and possibilities. They had wanted to make an example of a female border patrol agent. Now she would make an example of them, following a trail that would lead from this remote canyon to the highest levels of corruption. The real hunt was just beginning. The dying sun cast long shadows across the desert floor as Sarah Mitchell swept the perimeter of the ambush site, her trained eye cataloging every detail. The FBI's forensics team worked methodically nearby, documenting evidence that would never make it into official reports. Sarah knew better than most how certain truths remained buried in the sand, just like the secrets she'd left behind in places that didn't appear on any map. Agent Torres, the FBI lead investigator, approached with barely concealed awe. 7 tangos, all ex-military, taken down by one border patrol agent? His tone carried equal measures of respect and disbelief. Care to explain how you managed that? Sarah continued her sweep, buying time to craft a response that wouldn't raise too many questions. Border Patrol training is thorough, she deflected, knowing Torres wouldn't believe it any more than she did. Her real training had come, in darkness, in the crushing depths of Bud S., in hell weeks that separated warriors from pretenders. As the FBI team documented the scene, Sarah's attention fixed on a satellite phone recovered from the cartel leader. Its security was military-grade, but encryption had been part of her specialty in the teams. While the others focused on shell, casings and blood spatter, her fingers danced across the keypad, muscle memory breaking through layers of digital protection. The first message nearly made her drop the phone. Package secured from Fort Bliss. Buyer confirms payment. Border Patrol situation handled. The timestamp was from 3 days ago. More messages followed, each more disturbing than the last. References to military hardware, classified shipping schedules, base security rotations. This wasn't just about cartel intimidation anymore. The pieces clicked together in her mind like components of a tactical puzzle. Preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time, so if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now, back to the story. Fort Bliss, one of the largest military installations in the United States, a hub of defense technology and experimental weapons systems. The cartel wasn't just smuggling drugs, they were trafficking military hardware. Sarah's mind flashed back to her SEAL days, to classified briefings about terrorist cells seeking American military technology. The cartels weren't the end users, they were middlemen, moving weapons to buyers who posed even greater threats. This ambush hadn't been random, they were eliminating potential witnesses. A glint of metal caught her eye beneath one of the captured vehicles. Closer inspection revealed a hidden compartment, professionally installed. Inside, she found documentation, manifests, schedules, contact protocols. But it was a photograph that made her blood run cold. A group of men in dress uniforms at a military ceremony, and at the center, someone she recognized. Colonel James Davidson, Fort Bliss Chief of Security Operations. Sarah had served under Davidson during her final SEAL mission, an operation in Yemen that officially never happened. The mission that had led her to leave the teams, to seek a quieter life in Border Patrol. Now here he was, smiling alongside known cartel associates. The implications were staggering. Her sat phone vibrated, a secure channel she hadn't used in years. The text was brief. Ghost, we need to talk. Same protocols. Only 3 people knew that call sign, and 2 of them were dead. Commander Jack Reynolds, her former SEAL team leader, was calling her back into the shadow world she'd left behind. Sarah found a secure position away from the FBI team. Her response was equally brief: Falcon's Nest, 2300. The Falcon's Nest was a defunct mining operation 30 miles east, perfect for a meeting that needed to stay off official radar. If Reynolds was reaching out, the situation was worse than she'd imagined. As darkness claimed the desert, Sarah prepared with methodical precision. Her Border Patrol uniform was exchanged for tactical gear that would raise too many questions if discovered. Each weapon was checked and rechecked, magazines loaded with specialized ammunition from her personal cache. This wasn't a Border Patrol operation anymore. This was a return to the world of shadows and secrets. The mining operation loomed against the star-filled sky, a skeleton of rust and abandoned dreams. Sarah approached with the caution ingrained by years of covert operations, using thermal imaging to scan for unexpected guests. Reynolds had taught her that paranoia kept operators alive. She found him in the old foreman's office, unchanged despite the years. Same tactical beard, same watchful eyes that had guided their team through countless missions. "You're still sharp," he nodded approvingly. "Caught all 3 of my surveillance markers." "Why now, Jack?" Sarah kept her distance, old habits dying hard. "I'm out. Have been for 3 years. Reynolds spread photographs across a dusty desk, satellite imagery, surveillance photos, intelligence briefs. "Because someone's arming our enemies through the cartels, using our own bases, our own security protocols, and they're killing anyone who gets close to the truth." Sarah recognized faces in the photos: cartel leaders, military officers, defense contractors, a web of corruption that stretched from border towns to the Pentagon. "Davidson," she breathed, seeing her former commander in several images. "Goes deeper than him," Reynolds confirmed. "We've got SEAL tech showing up in terrorist camps, prototype weapons in cartel hands. Someone high up is selling out their country, and they're using the cartels as cover." Sarah studied the intelligence with growing concern. Shipping schedules aligned with Border Patrol shift changes. Security protocols matched military precision. This wasn't just corruption. It was a professionally planned operation using military expertise against itself. "Why me?" Sarah asked, though she already knew the answer. Reynolds had always been direct. "Because you're already in position. Border Patrol gives you access and cover. Your SEAL background gives you the skills. And most importantly, they don't know about you." Davidson never connected Sarah Mitchell, Border Patrol agent, with Ghost, the operator who nearly caught him in Yemen. The Yemen mission flashed through her mind. The intel leak that had compromised their position, the ambush that had killed 2 of their team. They'd never proven Davidson's involvement, but Sarah had always suspected. Now those suspicions had weight. "I'm putting a team together," Reynolds continued. "Off the books, no official support, just operators who understand what's at stake. Your choice, Ghost. But if you're in, you're all in." Sarah felt the familiar surge of pre-mission focus, the clarity that came with purpose. This wasn't just about border security anymore. This was about protecting everything she'd sworn to defend, both as a SEAL and a Border Patrol agent. "I'll need equipment," she said, already mentally cataloging requirements, "and intel on their operation." Reynolds smiled, the same expression he'd worn before their most dangerous missions. "Already arranged. Safe house in El Paso, fully stocked. Surveillance on key players, whatever you need." "Who's on the team?" "Martinez is running tactical. Chen's handling cyber. Jones is your backup if things go hot." All operators she'd worked with before, people she trusted with her life. Sarah absorbed the information, her mind already formulating strategies. Timeline? Fast. They're moving major shipments through Fort Bliss next week. After that, the weapons go dark. We lose them. They end up in enemy hands. Reynolds paused, his expression grave. This is bigger than Yemen, Ghost. We're not just hunting arms dealers. We're hunting traitors. The desert night wrapped around them like a tactical cloak as they finalized details. Sarah would maintain her border patrol cover, using her position to gather intelligence while the team built their case. One wrong move would alert Davidson and his network. One mistake would end not just the operation, but their lives. As she prepared to leave, Reynolds caught her arm. "Watch your back, Ghost. Davidson's gotten better at covering his tracks. Those cartel members who ambushed you. They're already being written off as random border violence. The system's compromised at levels we haven't mapped yet." Sarah nodded, her mind already shifting into operational mode. She'd left the SEAL teams hoping for a simpler life, a chance to serve without the weight of classified missions and hidden agendas. But some fights found you. Some duties couldn't be ignored. The desert stretched before her, a battlefield hidden in plain sight. Tomorrow she'd return to her border patrol duties, watching, waiting, gathering intelligence. But tonight, Ghost was back in the shadows, hunting enemies who threatened everything she'd sworn to protect. The real war was just beginning, and this time Sarah Mitchell was fighting it on her own terms. The cartels had thought they were intimidating a simple border patrol agent. Instead, they had awakened a warrior who knew their playbook, understood their tactics, and had spent her career hunting bigger prey in darker corners of the world. The night air carried the promise of violence as Sarah disappeared into the darkness, leaving no trace of her presence. The hunter had become the hunted, and the shadows were her domain. The first rays of dawn painted the El Paso skyline as Sarah Mitchell slipped into her border patrol uniform, the familiar green fabric concealing cutting-edge body armor beneath. Her apartment's spare bedroom had transformed overnight into a tactical operations center, courtesy of Reynolds' team. Multiple screens displayed surveillance feeds, personnel files, and satellite imagery of Fort Bliss's secured areas. Martinez's voice came through her encrypted earpiece as she prepared for her shift. "Ghost, we've got movement at the East Gate. Davidson's personal vehicle just cleared security an hour early." The Mexican-American operator had been running surveillance since midnight, his position offering a clear view of base activities. Sarah checked her watch. 5:15 a.m. Davidson was a creature of habit, never early, never late. A change in pattern meant something was happening. "Track him," she ordered, muscle memory from countless missions taking over. "Chen, get me base security feeds." "Already on it," the team's cyber specialist responded. "But there's a problem. Internal cameras. In Sector 7 just went dark. Routine maintenance, according to the logs, but the work order's suspicious." Sector 7, Fort Bliss's high-security storage facility. Sarah had memorized the base layout during her evening prep, marking vulnerable points and potential exfiltration routes. A security blackout there couldn't be coincidence. "Jones, status?" she queried, checking her backup weapons one last time. "In position at checkpoint 3, playing friendly neighborhood MP," came the response. Jones had infiltrated base security through credentials that would withstand any scrutiny. "Morning shift's looking nervous. Something's definitely up." Sarah's border patrol radio crackled with the morning briefing as she headed to her vehicle. "Standard updates, be on the lookout notices. nothing suggesting awareness of larger threats. Her cover was holding, just another dedicated agent, starting another routine day. Ghost! Movement at the storage facility, Martinez reported suddenly. 3 unmarked trucks, military drivers, but something's off about their formation. Sarah's mind raced through possibilities as she navigated El Paso's awakening streets. Chen, check manifests. What's authorized for transport today? That's what's weird, Chen replied, keyboard clicks punctuating his words. Nothing. No scheduled movements, no authorized transfers, but these trucks have valid credentials. Someone's gaming the system. Time to crash their party, Sarah decided, smoothly changing lanes toward Fort Bliss. Jones, delay any real MP patrols heading to Sector 7. Martinez, get me eyes on those trucks' routes. Chen, stand by to loop security cameras. We need to know what they're moving. Her Border Patrol vehicle passed through base security with practiced ease, her credentials drawing only cursory glances. The guard's tired nod revealed volumes. Night shift ending, day shift not fully alert. Perfect timing for someone exploiting. Security gaps. Sarah parked in a maintenance area, offering clear views of the storage facility's access road. Through high-powered optics, she watched the unmarked trucks being loaded. Their drivers maintained military bearing, but their security personnel showed subtle differences. Stance too rigid, weapons gripped too tight. Professionals trying too hard to look like regular soldiers. Chen, you seeing this? Clear as a day, he confirmed. Facial recognition running. Got hits. 2 former Army Rangers discharged under investigation. 1 ex-Delta off-grid for 3 years. These aren't regular troops. They're Davidson's personal crew, Martinez added. Same guys show up whenever there's unusual activity. Real ghost unit. Sarah's training kicked into higher gear as she catalogued details. Load teams working with practiced efficiency, but their movements suggested weight beyond normal military cargo. Security positioned to deter observation rather than protect against threats. Everything screamed black market operation. Ghost, heads up, Jones warned. Davidson's approaching your position. Looks like he's doing personal inspection. Sarah maintained her casual pose, appearing to complete routine paperwork. As Davidson's SUV passed, through her peripheral vision, she caught him speaking into a satellite phone. Not standard military issue. Chen, can you intercept that call? Negative. It's using quantum encryption. Cutting-edge stuff. Way beyond normal military channels. Whatever's going down, they're spending serious money to keep it quiet. The trucks finished loading, their suspension riding noticeably low. Sarah's experienced eye estimated weights far exceeding standard military equipment. Martinez, those vehicles are heavily loaded. Get me transportation routes. Multiple options, Martinez reported. But given weight restrictions and Border Patrol patterns, they'll have to use Highway 375. It's the only route that avoids major checkpoints. The same road where the cartel tried to ambush me, Sarah realized. They're clearing their transport routes the hard way. Her mind raced through options as the convoy prepared to move. Direct intervention wasn't possible. Too many variables, too much security. But they needed to know what was being transported. Jones, status on that tracking device. Planted on the lead truck during my routine inspection. Reading strong and clear. Sarah allowed herself a grim smile. Jones had always been the best at close-quarters infiltration. Chen, monitor that signal. Martinez, maintain visual coverage as long as possible. I'm going to shadow them once they clear the base. She watched Davidson oversee final preparations, his bearing perfectly professional. But Sarah noticed details others might miss. The slight tension in his shoulders, the way his hand kept checking his encrypted phone. This wasn't just another black market operation. Something bigger was in play. The convoy rolled out with military precision, passing through Fort Bliss's gates with documentation that would withstand any normal inspection. Sarah waited until they cleared the base before falling in behind them, maintaining perfect distance. In her Border Patrol vehicle, "Ghost, Davidson's making another call," Martinez reported. "Different satellite phone, same encryption." "He's nervous," Sarah analyzed. "Running dual communications, personally overseeing transport, whatever there. Moving, it's important enough to risk exposure." The convoy wound through El Paso's outskirts, heading toward the isolated stretches of Highway 375. Sarah's mind flashed back to her ambush, the perfect killing ground now being used as a smuggling route. The cartels weren't just muscle. They were providing organized security through territory they controlled. Multiple vehicles approaching from the south, Chen warned, monitoring satellite feeds. "Matches cartel convoy patterns. Escort formation," Martinez confirmed. "They're taking up blocking positions." Sarah watched through her windshield as civilian trucks fell into protective positions around the military convoy. The operation's scale was impressive. Corrupt military personnel, cartel security, professional drivers, all coordinated with precision that suggested extensive planning and resources. "Ghost! You've got company!" Joan's voice carried urgency. "Base security just reported suspicious Border Patrol activity near the convoy. Davidson's people made you." Sarah checked her mirrors, noting 2 unmarked vehicles accelerating to intercept. The game was changing. Time to show them why they... "Call me Ghost. Chen, kill my vehicle's transponder. Martinez, get me an alternate route." Her Border Patrol vehicle smoothly accelerated, years of tactical driving training taking over. The pursuers were good, maintaining professional distance while calling in her position. But Sarah had learned evasive driving from instructors who wrote the manuals. "Construction site 2 miles ahead," Martinez guided. "Temporary roads through industrial complex, perfect for losing tails." Sarah's vehicle hit the construction zone at precisely calculated speed, taking corners with controlled precision. Her pursuers followed, but their increasing gap showed their limitations. They were trained drivers. She was a SEAL. "Ghost, convoys maintaining course," Chen reported. "Cartel escorts increased security. They're expecting trouble." "Good." Sarah's voice carried lethal focus. "Because that's exactly what they're going to get." "Martinez, rendezvous point Beta. Time to change vehicles and show them how SEALs hunt." Her Border Patrol vehicle disappeared into a pre-positioned shipping container, emerging minutes later in an unmarked SUV that would draw no attention. The transformation wasn't just equipment. Sarah's entire demeanor shifted. Border Patrol agent becoming Ghost operative. "Chen, maintain convoy tracking. Martinez, get into Overwatch position. Jones, I need intel on their destination. Time to find out what Davidson's willing to risk exposure to transport." The desert stretched before her as Sarah's SUV rejoined. Highway 375 miles ahead of the convoy. The sun climbed higher, but the real heat was just beginning. Davidson had shown his hand, revealed the scale of his operation. Now it was time to make him remember why SEALs were the world's most feared hunters. The chase was on, but this time Sarah Mitchell wasn't the prey. She was the predator, and her hunt was just beginning. The cartels thought they ruled these roads. Davidson believed his military precision made him untouchable. They were about to learn that some ghosts do their best hunting in broad daylight. Behind her, the convoy rolled on, unaware that their security had already been compromised, their route already mapped, their operation already condemned. Sarah checked her weapons with practiced efficiency, each movement expressing the focused dedication that had made her a legend in units that officially didn't exist. The real war wasn't fought with badges or uniforms. It was fought in shadows, with skill and determination, by warriors who understood that true strength came from unwavering commitment to justice. Davidson was about to learn that lesson the hard way. 3 miles ahead of Davidson's convoy, Sarah positioned her unmarked SUV behind a natural ridge overlooking Highway 375. The desert afternoon had transformed the landscape into a shimmering mirage, perfect for concealing surveillance equipment. Through her high-powered optics, she studied the approaching formation. 3 military trucks flanked by cartel security vehicles, moving with practiced coordination. "Chen, what's the thermal reading on those trucks?" Sarah adjusted her scope, focusing on the lead vehicle. "Significantly cooler than ambient temperature," the tech specialist reported. "They're running refrigeration units, heavy power draw based on the electrical signatures." Martinez's voice cut in. "Ghost got movement on the ridgeline. Cartel scouts establishing overwatch positions. These guys are pros." Sarah tracked the scouts through her scope. Their movement patterns suggested specialized training, probably former Mexican special forces. The cartels had evolved beyond street thugs, building private armies with military expertise, but they'd never faced what she'd brought to the fight. "Jones, status on our surprise package?" "In position at waypoint, Charlie," came the response. "Remote detonation ready on your mark. Areas clear of civilians." Sarah had spent the morning setting up a technical ambush while her team tracked the convoy. Not to destroy it, they needed to know what Davidson was moving, but to create an opportunity for close inspection. Sometimes the best way to spring a trap was to make the enemy think they were springing one of their own. "Martinez, I count 6 cartel vehicles plus military transport. Confirm?" "Confirmed. 2 lead, 2 trail, 2 running parallel. Standard protective formation. These guys did their homework." Sarah allowed herself a grim smile. Good tactics, professional execution, but they were playing a game she'd mastered in places that didn't appear on maps. Time to change the rules. "Chen, initiate Phase 1. Miles ahead of the convoy, carefully. Hidden electronic warfare equipment activated. Sophisticated jamming technology, originally designed for special operations, began disrupting communications. Not enough to raise immediate alarm, but sufficient to create uncertainty. "Comms degrading. On schedule," Chen reported. "Their encrypted channels are starting to show packet loss. They'll blame terrain interference at first." Sarah watched through her scope as the convoy maintained formation, but subtle signs of tension appeared. Security vehicles adjusted positions, marginally compensating for degraded communications. The lead truck's driver kept checking mirrors, institutional paranoia asserting itself. "Ghost, Davidson's personal vehicle just turned onto 375, Martinez warned. 3 miles behind the convoy. He's running escort." "Perfect." Sarah's voice carried lethal satisfaction. "He wants to personally oversee the delivery. That's going to cost him. Jones, initiate Phase 2. A carefully concealed device activated beneath the highway's surface, sending precisely calibrated electromagnetic pulses into passing vehicles, not enough to disable them, but sufficient to create electronic ghosts in their systems. The effect was immediate. The lead military truck's engine stuttered, dashboard warnings flashing. The driver maintained control, but the convoy's smooth rhythm faltered. Security vehicles tightened formation, sensors and communications struggling with phantom interference. "They're starting to get nervous," Martinez observed. "Lead security vehicle is calling for technical support, but their signals are degraded. Backup comms showing similar issues." Sarah tracked their reactions through her scope, reading volumes in their adjustments. The cartel security was professional, maintaining discipline despite communications issues, but uncertainty was creeping in. The first seeds of doubt taking root. Time for Phase 3. Chen, activate the drones. High above the highway, completely invisible against the desert sky, 3 micro-drones activated. Cutting-edge military prototypes liberated from a classified program, they began broadcasting precisely targeted electromagnetic interference. The convoy's electronic systems deteriorated further. GPS readings became unreliable. Radio communications dropped completely. Even cell phones stopped functioning. They were electronically blind, running on visual contact only. "Davidson's vehicle is accelerating," Martinez reported. "He's trying to reach the convoy. Should we delay him?" "Negative," Sarah commanded. "Let him catch up. I want him to see what happens next. Jones, stand by for primary action." The convoy reached the predetermined point, their formation still intact, but showing signs of strain. Security vehicles had tightened their spacing, compensating for communication losses. The military trucks maintained steady speed, but their drivers' tension was visible even at distance. "Execute primary," Sarah ordered. The highway ahead erupted in a precisely controlled explosion, strategically placed charges, creating a barrier of smoke and debris, not damaging the road, but making it temporarily impassable. The convoy's lead elements hit their brakes, the formation accordioning to a halt. Cartel security responded with professional speed, vehicles forming a defensive perimeter. Armed men deployed to defensive positions, their training showing in their movement and spacing. From their perspective, they were under attack from unknown forces. Sarah watched Davidson's vehicle racing to catch up, his desperation evident in his driving. "Chen, Phase 4. The drones switched from electromagnetic interference to active countermeasures. Sophisticated electronic warfare packages began duplicating cartel communication signatures, flooding their backup frequencies with phantom traffic. Through her scope, Sarah observed the growing chaos. Security teams trying to coordinate without communications, vehicle electronics giving false readings, multiple threats appearing and disappearing on their instruments. Professional soldiers reduced to basic visual coordination. "Martinez, status on our package. Ready for delivery. Temperature control holding steady. Medical team standing by." This was the operation's true purpose, not just exposing Davidson's smuggling, but revealing its nature. Sarah had suspected the refrigerated truck's real cargo from the moment she'd seen their power signatures. Now it was time to prove it. "Ghost, we've got movement," Jones warned. "Cartel reinforcements approaching from the south. Heavy weapons, visible." Sarah tracked the new arrivals through her scope. 3 tactical vehicles, crew-served weapons mounted, moving fast to support the convoy. The cartels weren't taking chances with this shipment. "Right on schedule," she confirmed. "Chen, activate the final package." Hidden speakers, positioned. During the night by her team, activated simultaneously. The sound of helicopter rotors filled the air, seeming to come from multiple directions. To the convoy's security teams, it would seem like they were about to be surrounded by air assets. The effect was instantaneous. Cartel forces began repositioning, trying to establish fields of fire against aerial threats that didn't exist. The convoy's military drivers emerged from their vehicles, scanning the sky with professional concern. Davidson's vehicle finally reached the scene, braking hard beside the lead truck. Sarah's scope captured his expression as he emerged. Controlled panic beneath a mask of command presence, he began shouting orders, trying to restore order to the chaos. "Execute terminal phase," Sarah commanded. Multiple events happened simultaneously. The Phantom helicopter sounds increased, creating the impression of imminent landing. The drones switched to active electronic attack, completely shutting down all electronic systems in the area, and carefully hidden smoke generators activated, surrounding the convoy in swirling clouds that reduced visibility to meters. Through her thermal scope, Sarah watched the confusion unfold. Security teams clustering around vehicles, unable to maintain proper perimeter coverage. Davidson shouting instructions that couldn't be heard over the Phantom helicopters. And most importantly, the refrigerated truck's drivers abandoning their vehicles, seeking cover from non-existent air attack. "Move in," she ordered, already in motion. Her SUV descended the ridge on a pre-scouted path, approaching the convoy through their electronic and visual blind spots. Jones and Martinez converged from different angles, the team executing a plan rehearsed in countless operations. Sarah reached the lead truck first, her movement through the smoke a product of years of special operations training. The cab was empty, its driver seeking cover with the security teams. The cargo door's lock yielded to specialized equipment, revealing what she'd suspected. Chen transmitting images now. "Get these to Reynolds immediately." The truck's cargo hold was a sophisticated mobile medical facility. Refrigeration units maintained precise temperatures, monitoring equipment showed vital signs, and in specialized containers, human organs waited for transport. Not random harvesting, but carefully matched specimens intended for wealthy buyers. "My God," Martinez whispered over the comms, "they're running an organ trafficking operation." "Not just organs," Sarah confirmed, documenting everything with specialized equipment. "These are military-grade preservation units. This is a professional medical operation using military resources. The cartels are just providing transport security." Davidson's shouts carried through the chaos as he tried to restore order. Sarah marked his position through the smoke, noting how he kept one hand on his encrypted satellite phone. He was probably trying to contact his real employers, the ones who turned human suffering into profit. "Ghost, cartel reinforcements are almost here," Jones warned. 2 minutes, Max." "Package is delivered," Sarah confirmed. "Withdraw to secondary positions." Her team disappeared into the smoke as quickly as they'd arrived, leaving behind sophisticated surveillance equipment hidden in the truck's cargo. Holds! The evidence was documented, the operation exposed, and most importantly, Davidson's involvement was confirmed. The Phantom helicopter sounds faded as Sarah's SUV climbed back to her observation point. Below, the smoke began to clear, revealing confused security teams and shaken drivers. Davidson stood by his vehicle, shouting into a satellite phone that couldn't connect. "Chen, send everything to Reynolds, then activate our inside package." Hidden in the lead truck's cargo, a sophisticated transmitter activated, broadcasting the vehicle's location on classified frequencies. Any military or law enforcement agency scanning those bands would detect what appeared to be a distress signal from stolen military equipment. "Signal broadcasting," Chen confirmed. "Border Patrol and military police are already responding. Davidson won't be able to stop a legitimate inspection now." Sarah watched through her scope as Davidson reached the same conclusion. His face showed the realization that his operation was compromised, that his carefully constructed smuggling network was about to unravel. "Ghost, do we take him now?" Martinez asked, his sniper scope trained on Davidson. "Negative," Sarah commanded. "Let him run. He'll lead us to his real employers. This is bigger than one corrupt officer." The desert wind carried the sound of approaching sirens as Sarah's team disappeared into the landscape. Below, Davidson climbed into his vehicle, abandoning the convoy before official forces arrived. His satellite phone would be useless, his communications compromised, his operation exposed. But Sarah Mitchell wasn't done hunting. Davidson was just one piece of a larger puzzle, a single strand in a web of corruption that turned human suffering into profit. She had spent her career hunting evil in the world's darkest corners. Now that evil had brought the fight to her home, the real war was just beginning, and Sarah allowed herself a cold smile as she watched Davidson flee. He thought he was escaping, but he was actually running straight into her next trap. Sometimes the best way to hunt prey was to let them think they were getting away. The afternoon sun cast long shadows across Highway 375 as official vehicles approached the stranded convoy. But Sarah Mitchell was already gone, a ghost returning to shadows, preparing for the next phase of her hunt. Davidson and his masters were about to learn why some predators do their best work in darkness. The electronic lock of Sarah's safe house clicked open as she entered, her mind already processing the intel from the convoy operation. The converted warehouse in El Paso's industrial district had become their temporary headquarters, filled with surveillance equipment and tactical gear. Martinez and Jones were already there, reviewing footage from their operation. "Signal tracking shows Davidson headed north," Chen reported from his workstation, surrounded by multiple screens displaying real-time data. "He's avoiding main roads, using old ranch tracks, classic evasion pattern." Sarah studied the tactical display, her years of special operations experience recognizing the bigger picture. "He's not running," she analyzed, pointing to the route markers. "This is a pre-planned evacuation. He's heading for something." Reynolds' voice crackled through their secure communication system. "Ghost, preliminary analysis of the medical equipment you documented. It's cutting-edge military tech, stuff that's not even officially deployed yet. Someone's diverting experimental medical preservation systems." "The organ trafficking makes sense now," Martinez added, pulling up satellite imagery of Davidson's route. "These aren't back-alley operations. They're using military medical technology to run a high-end black market." Sarah's mind raced through implications as she changed into tactical gear. The pieces were falling into place: military-grade medical equipment, professional surgical teams, cartel transport security. This wasn't just corruption. It was an organized operation using military resources for illegal organ trafficking. "Chen, pull up everything we have on military medical research facilities in the region." Sarah checked her weapons with practiced efficiency. "Davidson's not just security, he's procurement. Those preservation units came from somewhere." The tech specialist's fingers flew across his keyboard. "Got something. Fort Bliss isn't just a regular base. They've got a classified medical research wing, officially working on battlefield trauma treatment. But their funding... There are gaps. Show me. Sarah moved to his station, studying the financial data. Her SEAL training had included analyzing intelligence patterns, finding the stories hidden in seemingly routine information. These supply requisitions, they're ordering equipment for twice the facility's capacity. Jones whistled low. Perfect. Cover. Order double what you need, divert half to the black market. Military paperwork makes it all look legitimate. But why run north? Martinez questioned, tracking Davidson's signal. If he's compromised, you'd expect him to head for the border. Sarah's expression hardened as she spotted something in the data. Because that's where the buyers are. Look at this. Private. Medical facility just outside Santa Fe. Officially, a high-end plastic surgery clinic, but their power consumption matches major transplant centers. Rich clients, desperate for organs, willing to pay anything, Reynolds analyzed through their comlink. The perfect market for black market transplants using military medical tech. Sarah began gathering specialized equipment, her movements precise and economical. Davidson's heading for their real base of operations. He'll warn them, try to protect their client list. That's worth more than any single shipment. Ghost, this is bigger than we thought, Reynolds warned. These clients, they'll have serious protection, private security, political connections. Good, Sarah's voice carried lethal focus. Because I'm not just hunting Davidson anymore. This entire operation needs to be exposed. Chen, get me everything on that clinic. Martinez, coordinate with Jones on overwatch positions. We're moving north. As her team prepared for deployment, Sarah studied the clinic's satellite imagery. The facility was well designed, professional security setup, but she spotted vulnerabilities. Her mind began formulating plans, drawing on years of covert operations experience. Reynolds, we'll need support on this one, she spoke into their secure channel. When we expose this, they'll try to bury it. We need media coverage, undeniable evidence. Already on it, her former commander confirmed. I've got journalists ready to move, ones we trust. When you crack this open, the whole world will see. Ildan, Sarah's team moved with practiced efficiency, loading specialized equipment into unmarked vehicles. Each member knew their role, understood the stakes. This wasn't just about catching criminals. It was about exposing corruption that turned human suffering into profit. Remember, Sarah addressed her team as they prepared to move out. These people think money and connections make them untouchable. They've forgotten that real power comes from unwavering commitment to what's right. We're about to remind them. The sun was setting as their convoy headed north, following Davidson's trail, but Sarah's mind was already at the target, analyzing approaches, planning contingencies. She had spent her career fighting enemies who hid in shadows. Now she was hunting predators who hid behind respectability, using wealth and influence as armor. Through the gathering darkness, Sarah allowed herself a cold smile. Davidson and his masters were about to learn that no amount of money could protect them from a warrior who had dedicated her life to fighting evil. Sometimes the most dangerous predators were the ones who fought not for profit, but for justice. The real hunt was about to begin, and this time Sarah Mitchell wasn't just seeking to catch criminals. She was going to expose a system that turned human desperation into blood money, that used military resources to profit from suffering. The night wrapped around their vehicles like a tactical cloak, but for Sarah, it felt like coming home. In darkness, ghosts did their best work. "Team, final equipment check," she commanded as they crossed into New Mexico. "This isn't just an operation. This is about showing the world that no one is above justice. that some warriors don't fight for money or power, but for what's right. Martinez's voice carried quiet determination through their comms. Ghost, multiple vehicles at the target facility, high-end security setup. They're expecting trouble. Good. Sarah checked her tactical. Gear one final time. Let's give them more than they expect. Sometimes the best way to fight corruption is to drag it into the light. The night stretched ahead of them, full of possibilities and danger. But Sarah Mitchell had never felt more focused, more certain of her purpose. She had left the SEALs, hoping for a simpler life, but some battles chose their warriors. Tonight, she would remind the world that true strength came not from wealth or influence, but from the unshakable commitment to fighting injustice. The hunt was on, and this time the prey had nowhere to hide. In the gathering darkness, a ghost was coming for them, carrying not just weapons, but the unstoppable force of justice itself. The surgical lights of their target facility glowed in the distance like a false beacon, promising healing but delivering corruption. Sarah's team moved into position, each member carrying not just weapons, but the weight of moral purpose. Tonight, they would prove that some warriors fought not for glory or profit, but for the simple, powerful truth that evil must be confronted, no matter how well it hid. As they prepared for action, Sarah felt the familiar calm of pre-mission focus settling over her. This wasn't just about catching criminals or exposing corruption. This was about showing the world that true power came not from money or influence, but from the unwavering commitment to what was right. The real battle was about to begin, and Sarah Mitchell was ready. Sometimes the most important wars were fought not on battlefields, but in the shadows between right and wrong, where warriors carried not just weapons, but the unstoppable force of justice itself. The Santa Fe Private Medical Center rose from the desert landscape like a modernist fortress, its gleaming exterior masking darker purposes within. Sarah studied the facility through specialized optics from her observation post, cataloging security, measures and personnel movements with practiced precision. "Chen, what's the ground-penetrating radar showing us?" she whispered into her secure comm. "3 sub-levels beneath the main structure," the tech specialist responded. "Power consumption suggests major medical facilities underground. They're running way more equipment than a plastic surgery clinic needs." Martinez's voice cut in from his overwatch position. "Ghost, got eyes on Davidson. He just entered through the staff entrance. 2 private security teams escorting him. These guys move like contractors, probably ex-military." Sarah tracked the security teams through her scope, noting their formation and equipment. High-end gear, professional spacing. These aren't just hired guns. Someone's spending serious money on protection. "Thermal imaging shows major activity in the sublevels," Jones reported from his position, covering the facility's rear entrance. "Multiple heat signatures consistent with operating rooms. They're active right now." Sarah's jaw tightened as the implications sank in. They're not shutting down. Even with their transport network compromised, they're continuing operations. They must have backup supply routes. "Ghost, movement at the main entrance," Chen alerted. "Expensive cars arriving. These look like clients." Through her scope, Sarah watched as luxury vehicles delivered well-dressed individuals to the clinics. Front doors. Private security details hovered discreetly, maintaining protective cordons around their principals. "Reynolds, are you seeing this?" "Affirmative," her former commander confirmed through their secure channel. Facial recognition is matching several high-profile individuals, politicians, business leaders, foreign nationals. This goes deeper than we thought. Sarah's mind raced through tactical options as she processed the new information. The facility's security was professional, but they were focused on protecting privacy, not repelling a covert assault. Their weakness would be their assumption of safety. "Team, switch to infiltration plan Delta," she commanded. "We're not just gathering evidence anymore. We need to catch them in the act." Her unit acknowledged with practiced efficiency, each member adjusting their positions. Years of working together in classified operations had forged them into a seamless unit. Chen, access point, maintenance tunnel, northwest corner. It's under lighter surveillance. They're more worried about people seeing out than getting in. Sarah moved like a shadow through the desert night, her movements precise and deliberate. The maintenance tunnel's lock yielded to specialized equipment, allowing silent entry into the facility's infrastructure. "I'm in. Martinez, status on surface security?" "Still focused outward. They've increased patrol since Davidson arrived, but their pattern is predictable. You've got a 12-minute window between sweeps." The tunnel opened into a utility area filled with high-capacity electrical equipment. Sarah's trained eye noted power cables far exceeding normal medical requirements. Everything about this facility spoke of hidden purposes. "Chen, building schematics, sending to your HUD now. Operating suites are 2 levels down, but Ghost. I'm picking up some weird power signatures. They've got equipment down there that's not in any civilian medical database." Sarah moved through the facility's shadows like liquid darkness, years of special operations training guiding every step. Security cameras were professionally placed, but they hadn't counted on someone with her level of infiltration expertise. "Jones, start your approach. If this goes hot, we'll need that. Backup entrance secured. Moving now. Ghost, be advised. Picked up radio chatter. They're expecting some kind of VIP, heavy security presence incoming." Sarah reached the second sublevel, the sterile hospital environment, a stark contrast to the utility areas above. Through reinforced windows, she caught glimpses of operating rooms, state-of-the-art equipment, surgical teams in full gear, and something that made her blood run cold. "Reynolds, are you getting this?" "Crystal clear," he confirmed, watching through her tactical camera feed. "Military-grade surgical units. That's classified technology. They're not just trafficking organs. They're using experimental medical tech to do it." Sarah documented everything as she moved deeper into the facility. Each piece of evidence built a stronger case, but she needed more. She needed to catch them in the act, make the connection between Davidson's military smuggling and this illegal surgical center. "Movement ahead," Chen warned. 3 security personnel approaching your position." Sarah melted into a doorway as the security team passed, their professional movements confirming her suspicions about their background. These were experienced operators, probably former special forces, but they'd never hunted ghosts. "Martinez, status on Davidson." "Still in the administrative section. Looks like he's meeting with facility leadership. They're agitated, probably discussing the convoy interception." Sarah reached the main surgical area's control room. The security lock was sophisticated, but Chen's electronic warfare package made short work of it. Inside, monitors displayed multiple ongoing operations. "My God," she breathed, documenting everything. "They're running 3 simultaneous transplant procedures. This isn't just a black market operation. It's an industrial-scale organ trafficking center." Ghost VIP arrival confirmed, Jones reported. You're not going to believe who just walked in. Senator William Harris, chairman of the Armed Services Committee. Sarah's mind raced through implications as she watched the senator on security feeds. Everything clicked into place. The military equipment, the classified technology, the high-level protection. Reynolds, this goes all the way to Washington. Harris controls military medical research funding. He's not just a client, he's their political protection. Which means we need undeniable proof, Reynolds responded. Ghost, change of mission. We need to document the senator's direct involvement. Without that, they'll bury this investigation. Sarah studied the facility's layout on her HUD, formulating a new plan. Chen, what's in the third sub-level? Heavy security, separate power grid. Whatever they're hiding down there, it's important. That's where we'll find our proof. Martinez-Jones, begin your approach. We're shifting to full tactical infiltration. Chen, stand by to initiate facility-wide systems disruption. Sarah moved toward the restricted elevator, her mind focused on the mission ahead. This wasn't just about exposing criminal activity anymore. This was about revealing corruption at the highest levels of government, about showing the world that no one was above justice. Team, final check, she commanded. Remember, we're not just fighting criminals. We're fighting for everyone who thinks money and power put them beyond the reach of law. Sometimes the greatest victories come not from defeating enemies, but from exposing truth. The elevator doors opened to the third sub-level, revealing a heavily secured medical storage facility. Sarah moved through it like a wraith, documenting everything. Here was the evidence they needed: military serial numbers on medical equipment, classified technology being used for illegal surgeries, and most importantly, financial records linking it all together. Reynolds, uploading data now. This isn't just proof of trafficking. This is evidence of systemic corruption, military technology being sold to the highest bidder. Incoming, Chen warned. Multiple security teams converging on your position. They must have detected the data transfer. Sarah smiled coldly as she heard boots on stairs. Sometimes the best way to catch prey was to let them think they had you cornered. These men were about to learn why some predators did their best work when surrounded. Team, execute Omega Protocol, she commanded. Let's remind them that true power doesn't come from money or influence. It comes from fighting for what's right, no matter the odds. The facility's lights flickered as Chen's electronic warfare package activated. In the darkness that followed, Sarah Mitchell prepared to teach corrupt officials and their mercenary protectors why some ghosts were best left undisturbed. The real battle was about to begin. And this time she wasn't just fighting for justice. She was fighting to show the world that no amount of money or power could protect those who profited from human suffering. Sometimes the most important victories came not from defeating enemies, but from exposing the truth they tried to hide. Darkness flooded the medical facility's third sub-level as Chen's electronic warfare package disrupted power systems. Through her advanced night vision, Sarah watched security teams responding with professional urgency, their movements revealing extensive military training. But they were about to learn that some warriors operated best in shadows. Ghost, primary, data upload complete, Chen reported through their secure comm. But we've got a problem. They're initiating emergency protocols. They're going to destroy evidence. Sarah moved like liquid darkness through the facility's corridors, her SEAL training transforming her into something beyond human perception. Martinez, status on the senator? He's being evacuated through their secure tunnel system. Davidson's with him. They're heading for the helipad on the roof. Not today. Sarah's voice carried lethal focus. Jones, implement Protocol Sierra. Cut off their escape routes. Chen, initiate Phase 2 of the cyber assault. Let's show them what happens when corruption meets justice. The facility's backup generators kicked in, but Chen's virus was already spreading through their systems. Security doors activated randomly, emergency protocols triggered in conflicting sequences. Professional security teams found themselves trapped by their own defensive measures. Sarah reached the facility's central data core, a reinforced server, room protecting financial records and client information. 2 security teams guarded the entrance, their stance revealing Special Forces background. Ghost, they're starting data deletion, Chen warned. 3 minutes until everything's wiped. Sarah's mind raced through tactical options as she studied. The security team's formation. These men were good, probably former Delta or SEALs themselves, but they'd forgotten the most important lesson of special operations. The deadliest predators were the ones you never saw coming. Chen, initiate. Protocol Omega, Martinez Jones, converge on my position. Time to remind them why we're called ghosts. The facility's fire suppression system activated suddenly, filling corridors with obscuring mist. Emergency strobe lights created disorienting patterns of shadow and light, and through their tactical radios, security teams began hearing phantom communications, false orders and conflicting commands. Sarah moved through the chaos like a spirit of vengeance, each movement calculated for maximum psychological impact. The first security team never saw her. Smoke grenades and precisely timed electronic pulses left them responding to threats that didn't exist. Primary server room breached, she reported, her fingers flying across keyboards as she implemented Chen's specialized data recovery protocols. Reynolds, are you receiving? Coming through clear, her former commander confirmed. Financial records, client lists, surgical data, it's all here. They were running a global operation, selling military medical technology to the highest bidders. Sarah's tactical awareness registered approaching threats even as she worked. Martinez, status on the senator. Still heading for the helipad. Davidson's got 4-man security detail with him. These guys are serious, probably private military contractors. Time to change the game. Sarah activated her team's specialized equipment, technology that didn't officially exist, developed for missions that never happened. Chen, execute Protocol Phoenix. The facility's electronic systems erupted in carefully orchestrated chaos. Security cameras showed phantom intruders, motion sensors triggered random alerts, and communication systems broadcast ghosted tactical chatter. Professional security teams found themselves fighting shadows while real threats moved unseen. Sarah reached the executive elevator shaft, the same route the senator and Davidson were using to reach the helipad. Their security detail was good, maintaining professional formation even under extreme conditions, but they had never faced what was coming. Team, converge on the roof access. Remember, we're not just fighting criminals. We're showing the world that true power comes from unwavering commitment to justice. The elevator doors opened onto the roof level, revealing a scene of tactical precision. The senator's security detail had established defensive positions, their weapons and training representing the best money could buy. Davidson stood near their principal, his satellite phone desperately trying to reach contacts who could make this problem disappear, but some problems couldn't be solved with money or influence. Some hunters couldn't be bought or deterred. "Ghost, they've got air support incoming," Chen warned. "Private military helicopter, heavily armed. 2 minutes. Out." Sarah smiled coldly as she activated the final phase of their operation. Sometimes the best way to fight corruption was to let it think it was winning, right until the moment of truth. Reynolds, activate our media partners. Chen, broadcast everything. Surgical records, financial data, client lists. Show the world what their money was really buying. The night sky erupted with light as news helicopters appeared, their cameras broadcasting everything live across multiple networks. The senator's security detail faltered, suddenly realizing their positions were exposed to the world. "This ends. Now," Sarah's voice carried across the rooftop, augmented by technology that made it seem to come from everywhere at once. "You can't hide corruption in darkness when the whole world is watching." Davidson's face showed the moment he understood. There would be no escape, no political cover-up, no way to bury the truth. The senator's security detail maintained professional discipline, but their body language revealed the growing realization that they were on the wrong side of history. "Stand down," Sarah commanded, as her team emerged from strategic positions. "You're good operators, but you're fighting for the wrong cause. True strength isn't about money or power, it's about standing for what's right." The senator's desperate grab for his security chief's weapon was almost anticlimactic. Before his fingers could close on steel, Sarah's movement had already disarmed him, her years of special operations training making it look effortless. "Senator Harris," she announced, loud enough for the media helicopter's cameras to catch clearly, "you're under arrest for conspiracy, corruption, and trafficking in restricted military technology. Let's see if your money can buy justice when the whole world knows the truth." Davidson tried to run, but Martinez and Jones were already there, their timing perfect after years of working together. The former colonel's face showed bitter recognition as Sarah approached. He had finally remembered where he had seen those moves before, why some ghosts were best left undisturbed. As federal law enforcement helicopters approached, their sirens mixing with media coverage, Sarah allowed herself a moment of reflection. This wasn't just about catching criminals or exposing corruption. This was about showing the world that true power came not from wealth or influence, but from the unwavering commitment to what was right. "Ghost, we did it," Reynolds' voice carried. Pride through their secure channel. The story's breaking worldwide. No one can bury this now. Sarah watched as FBI tactical teams landed, taking custody of the senator and his conspirators. Sometimes the greatest victories came not from defeating enemies, but from exposing the truth they tried to hide. "Team, mission accomplished," she confirmed. "Remember this moment. Sometimes the most important battles aren't fought with weapons, but with the courage to stand against corruption, no matter how powerful it seems." The dawn was breaking over Santa Fe as Sarah's team disappeared into the growing light. They had struck a blow not just against criminals, but against the very idea that money and power could place anyone beyond justice. For Sarah Mitchell, it was another reminder of why she had chosen this path. Sometimes the most dangerous predators weren't those who fought for profit or power, but those who fought for something more important: the simple, unshakable belief that evil must be confronted, no matter how well it hid. The real victory wasn't just in catching criminals or exposing corruption. It was in showing the world that true strength came not from wealth or influence, but from the unwavering commitment to fighting for what was right. 1 week after the Santa Fe raid, Sarah Mitchell stood in a hidden observation room, watching Senator Harris's interrogation through one-way glass. The politician's designer suit had been replaced by prison orange, his commanding presence diminished by the reality of his situation. But Sarah's instincts, honed through years of special operations, told her something was wrong. "He's too calm," she murmured, studying his body language. "A man who's lost everything shouldn't be that composed." Reynolds stepped beside her, his expression grave. "You're right. FBI's been interrogating him for days. He's not breaking." "Because he knows something we don't," Sarah analyzed, her mind racing through possibilities. "Chen, what are you finding in those decrypted files?" The tech specialist's voice came through their secure comm, tense with discovery. "Ghost, you need to see this. The clinic wasn't their only facility. I'm finding references to a whole network, multiple sites across the Southwest, all using military medical technology." Sarah's tactical mind immediately grasped the implications. They're not shutting down. Harris and Davidson were just one part of a larger organization. "It gets worse," Martinez added, joining them with a tablet displaying surveillance data. "Our cartel contacts report increased activity along new routes. They're adapting, shifting their transportation network. Someone's still running operations." Sarah studied the data, years of special operations experience helping her see patterns others might miss. The clinic was never the head of the snake. It was just one branch of something bigger. "Ghost. Movement on Harris's known associates," Jones reported through their comm. "Private jets leaving the country, electronic funds, transferring through offshore accounts. They're not running, they're repositioning." Sarah's jaw tightened as pieces clicked into place. "Harris isn't worried because he knows we haven't touched the real leadership. We took down their public face, but the organization is still intact." "What's our play?" Reynolds asked, recognizing the look in his former operative's eyes. Sarah Mitchell wasn't just a warrior. She was a hunter who never left a mission incomplete. "We follow the money," she decided, moving to Chen's workstation. "Every operation this size needs infrastructure, facilities, equipment, personnel. Track the supply chain." Chen's fingers flew across keyboards as he accessed secured databases. Most of the clinic's equipment came through military channels, Davidson's network. But there are other purchases, civilian companies, that don't quite add up. "Show me," Sarah commanded, her tactical mind already formulating strategies. The screen filled with corporate records, shell companies, holding firms, property purchases. On the surface, they appeared legitimate, but Sarah had learned to see beneath surfaces in places that didn't officially exist. "There," she pointed to a pattern of transactions. "These medical supply companies, they're all owned by subsidiaries of global medical industries." Reynolds whistled low. "GMI? They're one of the largest medical technology corporations in the world. Military contracts, research facilities, hospitals worldwide." "Perfect cover for moving restricted technology," Sarah analyzed. "Who controls GMI?" Chen's search revealed a name that made everything clear. Alexander Cross, CEO and majority shareholder, former military intelligence, served with Davidson in classified operations. Sarah's expression hardened as she studied Cross's photograph, a man who exuded corporate power and political influence. "That's our target. Harris and Davidson were just middle management. Cross is the one running the real operation." "Ghost, this is bigger than we thought," Reynolds warned. "Cross has connections everywhere, military, intelligence, politics. Going after him means taking on the entire system. Good, Sarah's voice carried lethal focus, because the system needs cleaning. Chen, what do we know about Cross's operation? GMI's headquarters is a fortress, private security, cutting edge, surveillance, counterintelligence measures. But they've got a research facility in Nevada that shows interesting patterns. Power consumption way above reported levels, unusual shipping schedules. Martinez pulled up satellite imagery of the facility. Looks like they've got their own. Airfield, separate power grid, security setup is military grade. That's where we'll find our proof, Sarah decided. They're using legitimate medical research as cover for their black market operation. Everything we need to expose them will be there. It's a suicide mission, Reynolds said quietly. Cross will have better security than the clinic, better trained personnel, and if we fail, there won't be a second chance. Sarah turned to her team, seeing the same determination in their eyes that she felt. Then we don't fail. Sometimes the hardest battles are the ones that matter most. Cross thinks money and power make him untouchable. Time to remind him that some hunters can't be bought or deterred. "What's the plan, Ghost?" Jones asked, already checking his equipment. "We do what we do best," Sarah smiled coldly. "We hunt." Cross thinks he's hidden his operation behind corporate walls and political influence, but he's forgotten the most important lesson of special operations. The deadliest predators are the ones you never see coming. The team moved with practiced efficiency, preparing for their most dangerous mission yet. Each member knew the stakes. They weren't just fighting criminals anymore. They were taking on an entire system of corruption. "Remember," Sarah addressed her team as they geared up, "we're not just doing this for justice. We're doing this to show the world that true power doesn't come from money or influence. It comes from the unwavering commitment to what's right." The Nevada desert stretched before them as their convoy headed west. But Sarah's mind was already at the target, analyzing approaches, planning contingencies. She had spent her career fighting enemies who hid in shadows. Now she was hunting. Predators who hid in plain sight, protected by wealth and corporate power. The real war was just beginning, and Sarah Mitchell allowed herself a grim smile as she prepared for battle. Cross and his organization were about to learn why some ghosts were best left undisturbed. Sometimes the most important victories came, not from defeating enemies, but from exposing the truth they tried to hide. As the sun set behind desert mountains, Sarah checked her equipment one final time. This wasn't just another mission. This was about showing the world that no amount of money or power could protect those who profited from human suffering. The hunt was on, and this time there would be nowhere for corruption to hide. "Team, final check," she commanded. "Remember what we're fighting for. Cross thinks his wealth makes him invulnerable, and time to show him that some things can't be bought, like courage, honor, and the determination to fight for what's right." The desert night wrapped around them like a tactical cloak, but for Sarah it felt like destiny. In darkness, ghosts did their best work, and she was about to remind the world why some hunters were feared even by those who thought themselves beyond justice. The real battle was about to begin, and this time Sarah Mitchell wasn't just fighting for victory. She was fighting to show the world that true strength came not from wealth or power, but from the unshakable commitment to confronting evil, no matter how well it hid behind corporate logos and political connections. The Nevada night concealed Sarah's team as they approached GMI's research facility, a sprawling complex nestled against rugged mountains. Through thermal imaging, Sarah observed security patterns that confirmed her suspicions. This wasn't just corporate security, this was a private military force. 20-man teams rotating in quadrants, Martinez reported from his overwatch position. These guys are running delta formations. Cross isn't messing around. Ghost, surveillance drones picking up something interesting, Chen's voice carried. Urgency through their secure comms. They're running escort for a medical transport. High-speed convoy approaching from the south. Sarah studied the incoming vehicles through advanced optics. Those aren't ambulances. They're military medical evac units, designed for battlefield organ preservation. Cross is still running operations, just more carefully. 4 minutes until convoy reaches the facility, Jones updated. Security's shifting to escort formation. This is our window. Sarah's mind raced through tactical options as she processed the situation. Cross's security was professional, but they were focused on protecting their transport. Their defensive pattern would leave gaps, if you knew where to look. Team, switch to infiltration plan Echo, she commanded. Chen, initiate electronic. Warfare package. Let's show them why some hunters work best when they think they're safe. The facility's perimeter sensors began experiencing subtle malfunctions. Nothing obvious enough to trigger alarms, but creating blind spots in their security net. Sarah moved like a shadow through these gaps, her SEAL training transforming. Every movement into liquid stealth. Ghost main gate engaging with convoy, Martinez reported. Security teams repositioning to cover medical transport. You've got a 3-minute window on the east wall. Sarah reached the facility's outer barrier, a combination of physical and electronic security that would stop most infiltrators. But she hadn't spent years in special operations to be stopped by walls. Chen, status on internal systems? Accessing their network now. Their cybersecurity is military grade, but they didn't count on someone having NSA-level intrusion tools. I'm creating ghost signatures in their motion sensors. The facility's electronic defenses yielded to specialized equipment as Sarah breached the perimeter. Inside, she moved through shadows like a predator, each step calculated to exploit security. Blind spots. Martinez, give me eyes on that convoy. They're unloading now. Medical teams meeting them at the receiving bay. Ghost. These aren't regular doctors. Their movement patterns suggest military training. Sarah reached a secondary access point, her mind processing tactical data as she worked. Cross hadn't just built a corporate empire. He'd created a shadow military operation using medical technology as cover. Jones, begin your approach. If this goes hot, we'll need that backup route secure. Moving now. Ghost, be advised. Picked up radio chatter. Cross himself is on site. He's overseeing this delivery. Personally? Sarah's expression hardened as she breached the internal security. Finally, the man behind it all was within reach. But first, they needed proof that would expose his entire operation. Chen, locate their data center. Sub-level 3, heavy. Security, separate power grid. But I'm reading something else. Massive power consumption in a sealed wing. Whatever they're hiding down there, it's big. Sarah moved through the facility's corridors like a ghost, avoiding security teams. With practiced ease, each step brought her closer to the truth Cross had buried beneath corporate legitimacy. Ghost, convoys fully unloaded, Martinez updated. They're moving multiple containment units to the sealed wing. These aren't regular medical containers. They're using military-grade preservation systems. Sarah reached the facility's central security hub, her movements invisible to cameras already compromised by Chen's cyber warfare. Inside, monitors revealed the scale of Cross's operation. "Reynolds, are you seeing this?" "Affirmative," her former commander confirmed through secure channels. "They're not just trafficking organs anymore. They're running full-scale medical experimentation, using military technology for unauthorized human trials." Sarah documented everything as she moved deeper into the facility. Each piece of evidence built a stronger case, but she needed more. She needed to catch Cross in the act. Prove that the corporate titan was personally directing these illegal operations. "Movement ahead," Chen warned. "Security detail approaching. These guys are different. Their gear suggests private military contractors, elite units." Sarah melted into shadows as the security team passed, their formation confirming her analysis. Cross had hired the best, probably former special operations operators like herself. But they'd forgotten the most important lesson of covert warfare. The deadliest predators were the ones you never saw coming. Martinez. Status on Cross. He's heading for the sealed wing, four-man security detail, all armed with experimental military gear. They're not taking chances. Sarah reached the sealed wing's access point, her mind focused on the mission ahead. This wasn't just about exposing criminal activity anymore. This was about revealing how corruption could hide behind corporate power, about showing the world that no amount of money could place someone beyond justice. "Team, converge on my position," she commanded. "Remember, we're not just fighting criminals, we're fighting for everyone who thinks wealth and influence put them above the law." The sealed wing security yielded to specialized breaching equipment as Sarah's team moved in. Inside, they found something that exceeded their worst expectations, a fully equipped military research facility using trafficked organs for unauthorized experiments. "Reynolds, uploading data now," Sarah reported, documenting everything. "This isn't just proof of trafficking. This is evidence of illegal military medical research, human experimentation, corporate corruption at the highest levels." "Ghost, multiple security teams converging," Chen warned. "They've detected the data transfer. Cross is initiating emergency protocols." Sarah smiled coldly as she heard boots on stairs. "Sometimes the best trap was letting your enemy think they had you cornered." These men were about to learn why some hunters did their best work when surrounded. "Team, execute Omega Protocol," she commanded. "Let's remind them that true power doesn't come from money or influence. It comes from fighting for what's right, regardless of the odds." The facility's lights flickered as Chen's electronic warfare package activated. In the darkness that followed, Sarah Mitchell prepared to teach corporate mercenaries and their corrupt masters why some ghosts were best left undisturbed. The real battle was about to begin, and this time she wasn't just fighting for justice. She was fighting to show the world that no amount of wealth or corporate power could protect those who profited from human suffering. Sometimes the most important victories came not from defeating enemies, but from exposing the truth they tried to hide in plain sight. As alarms blared and security teams mobilized, Sarah felt the familiar calm of combat focus settle over her. This wasn't just another mission. This was about proving that one determined warrior, fighting for what's right, could shake the foundations of even the most powerful corporations. The hunt was reaching its climax, and Alexander Cross was about to learn why some predators couldn't be stopped by money, power, or armies of mercenaries. Sometimes the most dangerous hunters were the ones who fought not for profit, but for principles that no amount of wealth could buy. Chaos erupted in GMI's research facility as Sarah's team executed their coordinated assault. Emergency lights cast crimson shadows through smoke-filled corridors as security teams scrambled to protect their operations. But Sarah Mitchell moved with calculated precision, each step part of a larger plan. Cross is heading for the executive elevator, Chen reported through secure comms. He's got a private helipad on the roof. Looks like he's trying to evacuate with critical data. Sarah processed tactical options as she navigated through the facility's emergency protocols. Martinez, status on external security. They're establishing defensive positions around the building's perimeter, professional setup, interlocking fields of fire, high ground coverage. These guys know what they're doing. Good. Sarah's voice carried lethal focus. Let them focus on external threats. They won't see us coming from inside. Jones, begin Phase 2. Through her tactical display, Sarah watched as Jones's specialized equipment began interfering with the facility's communications. Security teams found their coordinated defense hampered by failing radio links and conflicting orders. Ghost, you need to see this. Chen's voice carried urgency. I've breached their secure servers. They're not just running illegal medical research. They're developing enhancement protocols, military-grade biological augmentation. Sarah's mind raced as she processed the implications. Cross wasn't just trafficking in organs. He was using them to develop unauthorized human enhancement technology, the kind of research that could turn soldiers into something beyond human capability. Reynolds, are you getting this data? Affirmative, her former commander confirmed. This goes beyond corporate crime. They're developing biological weapons using trafficked organs as test material. Cross isn't just a criminal, he's a national security threat. Sarah reached the facility's main research level, where sophisticated medical equipment hummed with deadly purpose. Through reinforced windows, she observed labs where Cross's scientists worked on projects that defied ethical boundaries. Team, new priority, she commanded. We're not just gathering evidence anymore. We need to shut this whole operation down. Chen, start corrupting their research data. Martinez, prepare for facility-wide containment protocols. Ghost, Cross, has reached the executive level, Jones reported. His security detail is top tier, former Special Forces operators with experimental gear. They're not taking chances. Sarah moved like a shadow through emergency stairwells, her SEAL training, transforming each movement into silent efficiency. Cross's security was professional, but they had never hunted someone trained to be invisible. Chen, what's Cross carrying? Based on data signatures, he's got a quantum-encrypted drive. Contains everything. Research data, client lists, financial records. That's our primary target. Sarah reached the executive level as facility-wide alarms blared. Through smoke and emergency lighting, she observed Cross's security detail maintaining professional formation around their principal. Their movement patterns confirmed her analysis. These were elite operators, probably former Delta or SEALs themselves. Remember your training, she whispered to herself, mind shifting into the perfect clarity of combat focus. Sometimes the best way to fight superior numbers is to make them defeat themselves. Ghost, they're almost at the roof access, Martinez warned. 2 minutes until their helicopter arrives. Sarah activated specialized equipment, technology developed for missions that didn't officially exist. The executive level's lights flickered and died as Chen's cyber warfare package initiated its final phase. In the darkness that followed, Sarah Mitchell became something more than human. Each movement was calculated precision, every step placed with lethal purpose. Cross's security team was good, but they had forgotten the most important lesson of special operations. The deadliest predators were the ones you never saw coming. "What's happening?" Cross's voice carried barely controlled panic as his security detail's communications failed. "Get me to that helicopter." Sarah's voice seemed to come from everywhere at once, augmented by technology that made it impossible to locate. "It's over, Cross. You can't hide behind money and mercenaries anymore. Some hunters can't be bought." Through her enhanced vision, Sarah watched the security team's professional discipline begin to crack. They maintained formation around Cross, but uncertainty had crept into their movements. When you couldn't trust your own senses, even the best training could fail. "Ghost helicopter approaching," Chen updated, 60 seconds out. Sarah moved like liquid shadow, implementing techniques perfected in places that didn't appear on maps. Cross's security detail found themselves responding to threats that didn't exist, their professional formation disrupted by phantom attacks. "You don't understand what you're interfering with," Cross shouted into the darkness. "This research could revolutionize military medicine. We're creating the future." "No," Sarah's voice carried cold certainty as she materialized from shadows. "You're profiting from human suffering, using stolen organs to develop weapons. That ends tonight." The security team's reaction was professional, but futile. Sarah moved through their formation like water through stones, each movement the product of years spent mastering the art of combat. Within seconds, Cross stood alone, his protective detail neutralized with precision that spoke of training beyond normal special operations. "Do you know what you're doing?" Cross's corporate confidence cracked as Sarah approached. "The people behind this research, they won't let you expose this." "That's exactly why it needs to be exposed," Sarah replied, securing the quantum drive. "Sometimes the greatest victory isn't defeating an enemy. It's showing the world the truth they tried to hide." "Ghost, federal response teams are inbound," Reynolds reported through secure comms. "Time to disappear." Sarah zip-tied Cross with professional efficiency as emergency lights cast strange shadows across the executive level. Outside, the approaching helicopter diverted away as Chen's electronic warfare package convinced its pilots that the landing zone was compromised. "Your empire's finished, Cross," Sarah stated as federal agents approached the facility. "But the real impact isn't arresting you. It's showing the world that no amount of money or power can place someone beyond justice." As law enforcement secured the facility, Sarah's team disappeared into the desert night. They had struck a blow not just against corporate crime, but against the very idea that wealth could shield evil from consequences. For Sarah Mitchell, it was another reminder of why she had chosen this path. Sometimes the most dangerous predators weren't those who fought for profit or power, but those who fought for something more important, the unshakable belief that evil must be confronted, no matter how well it hid behind corporate logos and political influence. The real victory wasn't just in shutting down Cross's operation. It was in showing the world that true strength came not from wealth or technology, but from the unwavering commitment to fighting for what was right. Sometimes one determined warrior, standing for justice, could shake the foundations of even the most powerful empires. As dawn painted the desert sky, Sarah allowed herself a moment of reflection. The hunt had changed her, reminded her why she had become a warrior in the first place. It wasn't about victory or defeat. It was about standing up for what was right, no matter the odds. The real war wasn't fought with weapons or technology. It was fought in the hearts of those who refused to let evil triumph, who stood against corruption, no matter how powerful it seemed. And in that war, Sarah Mitchell had struck a blow that would echo through corporate boardrooms and shadowy organizations, reminding them that some hunters couldn't be stopped by money, power, or armies of mercenaries. 2 weeks after Cross's arrest, Sarah sat in a secured briefing room deep within FBI headquarters in Washington, D.C. The quantum drive's decrypted contents were displayed on multiple screens, revealing a web of corruption that stretched across continents. The scope of this is staggering, FBI Deputy Director Thompson admitted, studying the evidence. Corporate executives, military officials, foreign agents, all involved in developing unauthorized biological enhancements using trafficked organs. Sarah analyzed the data with the focused precision that had made her legendary in special operations. Cross wasn't the top. He was middle management for something bigger. Look at these research protocols. They're coordinated across multiple facilities worldwide. Ghost, you need to see this. Chen's voice came through their secure channel. I've been tracing financial patterns from Cross's data. The money leads to a corporate entity called Prometheus Initiative. On paper, they're a global medical research foundation. But in reality, Sarah prompted, already suspecting the answer, they're a front for something much darker. Their board of directors includes former military commanders, intelligence chiefs, corporate leaders, people with the power to make entire governments look the other way. Reynolds joined them, his expression grave as he studied the intelligence. The Prometheus Initiative isn't just funding research. They're creating a private military force, enhanced by biological augmentation, an army of super soldiers loyal only to the highest bidder. Sarah's tactical mind raced through implications as she processed the information. That's why they needed the trafficking network. Traditional medical research was too slow, too regulated. They're using stolen organs to accelerate their enhancement programs. Ghost, incoming priority message. Martinez cut in through their comms. Our surveillance just picked up movement at multiple Prometheus facilities. They're initiating some kind of emergency protocol. The screens filled with real-time satellite imagery showing coordinated activity at research centers across the globe. Sarah recognized the patterns. This wasn't evacuation or shutdown. This was deployment. They're not running, she analyzed, years of special operations experience reading the signs. They're launching operations. Cross's arrest wasn't a setback for them. It was a signal to begin their endgame. Multiple high-level meetings happening worldwide, Jones reported. Corporate boardrooms, military installations, government facilities. The Prometheus Initiative is making its move. Sarah stood, her mind already formulating strategies. They've spent years developing enhanced operators, building a private army loyal to their cause. Now they're positioning to take control of global military and security infrastructure. How do we fight an enemy that's already infiltrated the system? Thompson asked, the FBI director clearly unsettled by the scope of the threat. The same way we've always fought corruption. Sarah's voice carried steel determination. By showing the world the truth. Chen, compile everything from Cross's drive, financial records, research data, client lists. I want it all ready for worldwide release. Ghost, that'll make you a target for every compromised agency and corporation on the planet, Reynolds warned. Good. Sarah checked her tactical gear with practiced efficiency. Let them come. Sometimes the best way to fight corruption is to draw it into the light. Multiple strike teams deploying from Prometheus facilities, Martinez updated. These aren't regular operators. Thermal signatures suggest biological enhancement. They're sending their augmented forces to eliminate threats. Sarah smiled coldly as she prepared for battle. They think enhancement makes them invincible. Time to remind them that true strength comes from something they can't engineer. The unwavering commitment to what's right. Ghost. We're tracking a primary Prometheus facility in the Colorado Rockies, Chen reported, hidden inside a legitimate medical research center. That's their command and control hub. Then that's where we strike, Sarah commanded. Reynolds, get our team ready. Martinez, Jones, begin surveillance. Chen, prepare for full-spectrum cyber warfare. It's time to show them why some hunters can't be stopped by armies or technology. The team moved with practiced precision, preparing for their most dangerous mission yet. Each member knew the stakes. They weren't just fighting corrupt corporations anymore. They were taking on an organization that sought to control the future of human evolution itself. Remember, Sarah addressed her team as they geared up, Prometheus thinks their enhanced soldiers make them unstoppable, but they've forgotten what really makes a warrior. It's not about physical capability. It's about fighting for something bigger than yourself. The Colorado mountains loomed ahead as their aircraft approached under cover of darkness. But Sarah's mind was already at the target, analyzing approaches, planning contingencies. She had spent her career fighting enemies who hid in shadows. Now she was hunting predators who thought technology and enhancement made them invincible. Team, final check, she commanded. Remember what we're fighting for. Prometheus thinks they can buy evolution, control humanity's future through money and power. Time to show them that some things can't be engineered, like courage, honor, and the determination to fight for what's right. The night wrapped around them like a tactical cloak, but for Sarah Mitchell, it felt like destiny. In darkness, ghosts did their best work, and she was about to remind the world why some hunters were feared even by those who thought themselves beyond human limitation. Their aircraft approached the hidden facility as Sarah completed her final equipment. Check, this wasn't just another mission. This was about showing the world that true strength came not from physical enhancement or technological advantage, but from the unshakable commitment to confronting evil, no matter how powerful it seemed. Ghost, multiple enhanced signatures. Detected, Chen warned. Their operators are showing biological readings off the charts. Whatever Prometheus has developed, it's beyond anything we've encountered. Good! Sarah's voice carried lethal focus. Let's show them that the most dangerous weapon isn't something you can engineer in a lab. It's the warrior who fights not for power or profit, but for the simple truth that evil must be confronted. The real battle was about to begin, and Sarah Mitchell was ready to prove that one determined hunter fighting for justice could overcome any advantage technology or enhancement might provide. Sometimes the greatest victories came not from superior capability, but from the unshakable determination to stand against corruption no matter the odds. As their aircraft began its final approach, Sarah felt the familiar calm of combat focus settle over her. Prometheus thought they could create invincible warriors through technology and enhancement. They were about to learn that the most dangerous predators were the ones who fought not for power or profit, but for principles that no amount of engineering could overcome. The hunt was reaching its climax, and the Prometheus initiative was about to learn why some ghosts couldn't be stopped by armies of enhanced soldiers or technological superiority. Sometimes the most dangerous hunters were the ones who fought, not for advantage, but for the simple, powerful truth that justice must prevail. The Prometheus Initiative's mountain fortress rose before them as Sarah's team initiated their final assault. But this wasn't just about confronting enhanced soldiers or advanced technology. This was about proving that the human spirit, fighting for what's right, could overcome any artificial advantage. Ghost, their defense systems are unlike anything we've encountered, Chen reported. Automated turrets, motion sensors that can detect enhanced biological signatures, AI-driven security protocols. Sarah moved with focused determination as she led her team through the facility's outer defenses. Technology isn't what makes a warrior. Let's show them what real strength looks like. The facility's enhanced guards moved with superhuman speed and precision, their augmented abilities making them formidable opponents. But Sarah had spent her career proving that true combat mastery came from something deeper than physical capability. "Remember your training," she commanded as her team engaged. "They're relying on enhancement. We rely on skill, experience, and the knowledge that we're fighting for something bigger than ourselves." Through the facility's corridors, Sarah's team demonstrated why human determination could overcome any technological advantage. Each movement was calculated precision, every action guided by years of experience rather than artificial enhancement. "Ghost, we've reached their central control room," Martinez reported. "But their leadership isn't here. They're broadcasting from somewhere else." Sarah processed this information as she accessed their computer systems. "They never intended to fight us directly. This facility is just another layer of deception." "Incoming transmission," Chen announced. "They're reaching out directly." A holographic display activated, showing the true face of the Prometheus Initiative, a council of powerful figures who had sought to control humanity's evolution through wealth and technology. "Impressive, Agent Mitchell," their leader spoke, his voice carrying artificial calm. "But you failed to understand. Evolution cannot be stopped. The future belongs to those willing to embrace enhancement." Sarah stood before their projection, her presence carrying more authority than any technological display. "You're wrong. The future belongs to those who fight for what's right, not those who try to buy superiority." "We offer perfection," another council member argued, "the elimination of human weakness, the advancement of human capability." "You offer corruption," Sarah countered, "the belief that money and technology can replace human spirit. But you've forgotten what really makes humanity strong." As she spoke, Chen's cyber warfare package was already spreading through global networks, exposing the Prometheus Initiative's true nature to the world. Their research data, their client lists, their plans for controlling human evolution, all laid bare for humanity to judge. "You can't stop progress," the council leader insisted, but uncertainty had crept into his artificial calm. "This was never about stopping progress," Sarah replied, her voice carrying the weight of truth. "This was about reminding the world that real strength comes from something you can't engineer, the courage to stand against corruption, no matter how powerful it seems." Through facility cameras, Sarah watched as global law enforcement began moving against Prometheus operations worldwide. Their enhanced soldiers, their advanced technology, their political connections, all rendered meaningless by the simple power of truth exposed. "Ghost, all Prometheus facilities are being secured," Reynolds reported. "Their enhanced operators are standing down. Turns out even engineered soldiers can recognize which side is right." Sarah addressed the council. One final time, you thought you could control humanity's future through money and technology, but you forgot the most important lesson. True power comes not from physical capability, but from the unwavering commitment to what's right. As federal agents secured the facility, Sarah's team prepared to disappear once more. They had struck a blow not just against corruption, but against the very idea that humanity's worth could be measured by technological advancement or physical capability. "Remember this day," Sarah told her team as they departed. "We didn't win because we were stronger or faster. We won because we fought for something more important than power or profit. We fought for the simple truth that justice matters more than advantage." The mountain winds carried promise of change as Sarah Mitchell took one final look at the facility. The Prometheus Initiative had sought to create perfect warriors through technology and enhancement. Instead, they had been defeated by something they couldn't understand: the power of human spirit dedicated to fighting for what was right. For Sarah, it was the ultimate validation of everything she believed. Sometimes the most dangerous predators weren't those with the greatest physical capability, but those with the deepest commitment to justice. Sometimes one determined warrior fighting for truth could overcome any advantage technology might provide. As dawn broke over the mountains, Sarah allowed herself a moment of reflection. The real victory wasn't in defeating enhanced soldiers or exposing corrupt organizations. It was in proving that humanity's greatest strength came not from engineered capability, but from the simple, powerful choice to stand against evil, no matter the odds. The hunt was over, and Sarah Mitchell had shown the world why some hunters couldn't be stopped by technology, enhancement, or armies of artificial warriors. Sometimes the most dangerous predators were the ones who fought not for advantage, but for principles that no amount of engineering could overcome. The real war had been won not with weapons or technology, but with the unshakable determination to fight for what was right. And in that victory, Sarah had reminded humanity that true power came not from physical capability or technological advantage, but from the simple, immortal strength of the human spirit dedicated to justice. As her team disappeared into the morning light, Sarah carried with her the knowledge that they had done more than just stop a corrupt organization. They had shown the world that no amount of enhancement or technology could match the power of human courage fighting for what was right. The ghost had completed her final hunt, leaving behind a legacy that would inspire future generations. Not as a symbol of physical capability or technological advancement, but as a reminder that true strength came from something far more powerful: the unwavering commitment to stand against evil, no matter how insurmountable it might seem. Up next, you've got two more standout stories right on your screen. If this one hit the mark, you won't want to pass these up. Just click and check them out. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any upload from us.